Hello, and welcome to Reality Roundup.
Welcome, everyone.
Yay!
I'm going to apologize for the many times that I'm going to cough and sneeze during this
I thought you were going to say
podcast.
suck up your snots. Or are you going to refrain from doing that as much as possible?
I'm going to try my hardest, but if a snot gets sucked up by accident, I apologize in advance.
She has a really bad cold, guys. She's a
really,
trooper.
Really bad.
But we have so many fun things to talk about.
Or should I do an ASMR podcast?
Yeah.
It's really, really bad.
It's really bad.
Boop, 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 boop.
Okay. So we have a new show to talk about this week.
Project Runway.
The beautiful Project Runway is back.
The fashionistas are back in town.
Yes. It really did have such new energy when it came back to Bravo last season. And I'm just so excited about it. Because, for a while, we had stopped watching just because, other things took over when it was on Lifetime. And now we're back into it. And we're loving it.
Tim Gunn and Heidi were amazing.
Yes.
But there's just something special about Christian Siriano.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, I was going to say Heidi Klum. No, that's wrong.
Kloss.
I like Carly Kloss's take on fashion. I feel like she's not as cutthroat as Heidi.
I wonder
nice.
how much of that was a language barrier for Heidi.
Oh, that could be.
That
could be.
Or a cultural thing. I don't know. But anyway,
I like the other judges.
Oh, Brandon. Love Brandon so much.
He's so amazing.
Elaine is fun. Nina is very a staple. Fun. You have to have her.
Elaine is Nina is the only one who survived the overhaul.
Mm-hmm.
She has stood the test of time.
I do miss Michael Kors at times. I love Michael Kors.
She's a hooker with a heart of gold.
Ah, sweet charity. Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah. Wait, was that Posen on last season? I can't remember.
Yeah.
He was?
Not last season, 2 seasons ago.
Oh, okay. So he was not. I can't remember. We did watch last season, by the way. But it feels like so long ago
He
now.
might have poked his head in there as a guest judge.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Right?
Or is he a judge on, All Stars or something?
He was definitely on All Stars.
Okay.
Definitely.
Anyway, we've got a new crop of designers for this season. And
Happy holidays.
Yes. There are a lot of really interesting characters.
Yeah, so we watched the first episode, and I thought they got right into that first challenge. They eased them into it with a 2-day challenge, which was extremely generous.
Yes, but they were working in teams of 2. So that's pretty tricky when you're trying to establish your voice as a designer and you have to work with someone else and try and make the 2 looks work together. That's tough.
At least they gave them a chance to pick their own teams of 2, though.
That's true.
That was nice.
They did get to know each other a little bit and pick their own partners instead of just picking out of a bag. So that is good.
Yeah. What was the challenge? It was
they
one
had to make
pantsuit.
A jumpsuit.
And one...
and a cocktail look.
Cocktail dress, yeah.
For space.
How exciting was that? I believe it was LaGuardia Airport, the old terminal there that they made into a hotel.
Like TWA or something.
Yeah. And I remember going there as a kid. I'll wait for my sister to come in on the airplane. Wait for Mark to come in on the airplane.
Today.
I'm sorry. My throat probably looks like the inside of the devil's stomach right now.
Ugh.
It's very painful. So
yeah.
I'm struggling to talk here.
It's okay. We're going to make it through. But anyway, yeah, the challenge was really cool. It had a space theme. Yeah. And we're not going to dissect all the looks because that's a little tedious. But what did you think of the winning look?
I thought it was probably I would have chose that as the winning look.
Yeah. So the winning team, the 2 Texans.
Right.
And then the girl, I don't know any names yet, with the blonde hair won overall.
I love
the jumpsuit.
The button detail on the legs. Mm-hmm. I thought that was just special.
It was really cool.
Just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And what did you think of the bottom 2?
I thought they had no other choice but to send both of them home.
That
because
was wild.
They both were so lackluster.
Well, let's go over over this a little bit. So they
Okay.
had a really rough pairing because one of them, their style was like modern goth,
Right.
and one of them was like full coverage, modesty, but
Okay.
still fun.
Did either of them fulfill their style? I guess the full coverage one, yes, but you know what? You can only look at so many colorful moo-moos with little frills tied on top.
Well, I wouldn't say that, because I mean, looking at her portfolio when they were introducing her, she had a lot of really interesting stuff. The issue, I think, was that they just weren't able to bridge the gap between their two styles.
But the modern goth girl, she didn't even make a jumpsuit that would sell in Target.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like,
Which is where she came from. She
Yeah.
was a merchandiser from Target.
they
Or
could
a
not
marketer.
successfully bridge the gap, so they both ended up making compromises that really damaged their individual work, and both of them, like, they were just not good. So yeah, they got rid of both designers, which
Plus
was
the quality
crazy.
of their sewing was just subpar. It was
Yeah.
it was just terrible.
It was a mess. It's always tough though to be like the first one out.
Yeah. They were both really torn up about it. But then when they showed the after show with Christian Siriano, they were like toasting away. They were just like, this is
Christian
great.
so much fun. Oh,
The next upcoming episode, he's going to be quite the taskmaster.
he's on that guy that wears like the
lab
jacket.
coat?
Yeah.
How amazing is that that's like somebody who shows up to school, like grammar school with a briefcase.
I love it. I think it's so fun.
He's working towards the job that he wants.
Yeah.
He's dressing for the job he
That's
wants.
how they dress in those like classic
Couture places,
ateliers. So
the houses.
go for it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a great season.
I think so too.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Very excited.
Now let's talk about
The Masked Singer.
yes.
We are getting down to the nitty gritty.
There's
now.
only one more episode after.
Yeah, the finale next week.
After
they
this
had
week.
2 episodes this week. There were 3 unveilings. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot for a second now. Who even went home on Tuesday?
I don't know.
I forgot.
Oh my god, that is so sad. That person's gonna feel like duty now.
Nah, they'll be alright. But anyway, yesterday they had the double elimination, and I have a few things that I want to address about this episode. Number 1, when Thingamajig performed, and we know that he's got like this flirtatious thing going on with Nicole.
Right.
And there was some speculation like, okay, is this Dennis Rodman? Because they know it's like a really tall guy. They think it's probably a basketball player.
Yeah.
And Nick Cannon asks Nicole, would you date Dennis Rodman? And she's like, no.
She said,
Oh my god! But that's something that I asked in the past too.
you asked that like last week. Do you
Yeah.
think what would be her response, when she saw it was Dennis Rodman?
Bye!
I had already let go of the theory that it was Dennis Rodman because I was
Yeah.
holding on to that for a little while.
After this next performance, I was like, no, that's not Dennis Rodman.
And I know so little about professional basketball that they could have put anybody up there and I wouldn't have known who it was.
True.
So
When they revealed who it was,
I was like, what?
I didn't know. But Ken Jeong actually got one right.
For a change.
Isn't that
He's
crazy?
always freaking ridiculously wrong. I'm sure he does that on purpose.
Oh, yeah. But this one,
We know you
nailed
watch
it.
basketball, dude.
so that was fun. And then I did not think that the leopard or the cheetah or whatever should have gone home.
No.
And
How exciting was it, though, that they sang a Bob Fosse movie tune?
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had
Seals-
just seen that movie, too.
Yeah, we just watched that like a few weeks ago. But Seal's music choice has been on point all season.
He was having a great time.
Yeah, I loved that performance. I thought it was one of his best. And I was super bummed to see him go. I don't think he deserved to go last night.
Especially since he was doing it, he said, for his kids.
Aww.
I think that is a great dad. To just try and make his kids happy like that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. His whole persona, his whole attitude was just so amazing and uplifting.
He was so committed to the character. It was amazing.
He deserved to win.
I don't know about win, but definitely be in the finals.
Yeah, I thought he deserved to win just because he totally committed. I don't, you know.
Who do you think should have gone instead of Seal? Because I think Thingamajig made sense. It was his time to go. But who do you think should have gone with Thingamajig?
Oh, I don't know. I guess the Flamingo?
What? I was going to say Rottweiler.
No.
I think the Flamingo should possibly win the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so I thought that the Rottweiler, a.k.a. Dogtree, a.k.a. Daughtry, was great last night, but if I had to pick, I would have said that he should go.
I just remembered who went home the first night.
Okay, who?
The Christmas tree.
Oh, right! Anna Gasteyer. Yeah.
She was really great.
She was great, but we knew that she could sing. She's been doing it for years on SNL. When one of my favorite sketches was when she
her
would
and
play
Will Ferrell.
the husband and wife duo with Will Ferrell, and they were like working at a school.
Or what about when her and Jan Hooks would do the Sisters, and they would do the medleys. They did the Christmas medley.
I can't remember.
Hark, hear the bells, I hear the bells, blah, blah. And then they would like keep building on words and bring it to different Christmas songs. She was fab. No, that wasn't her.
I was going to say Jan Hooks.
That wasn't her.
They weren't on together, were they?
That was Jan Hooks and that other girl with the dark hair.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember that sketch.
That was years before. Sorry. I'm
okay. You have a
sick. I'm sick in the head.
Yeah. So, okay, who do you think is taking this whole thing? You said Daughtry, or who we think is Daughtry?
No,
Rottweiler?
I'm thinking the fox is going to take it.
You know what? The fox has an amazing voice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
Dances.
Yeah.
And he's having a great time.
I am fully on the that is Wayne Brady train.
Yeah.
I think
Wayne Brady deserves it. If that's Wayne Brady. Even if it's not Wayne Brady, I think who's ever in the fox head deserves it.
I would say either the fox or the flamingo. No offense to the Rottweiler. Love you. Love your costume. Love your story and your journey.
love how you're always like...
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see who takes that.
I'm excited. Leave us a comment on who you think should win the whole thing.
And who do you think is behind those masks? All right. Let's talk about
Survivor.
This season, before we get into the episode, this season has really taken a turn that I was not expecting.
It was very tumultuous. There was a lot of issues during this season.
There were a lot of issues, and I was really excited at first about how they were presenting it to us and how they were handling things, but then the whole Dan thing came up. I did not like the way that it was
just
handled.
Blew up.
Initially.
No, I didn't either.
We'll get to what happened last night, but...
Yeah. That was crazy.
This season, it really, really took a turn.
Yeah. All right, so they get back to camp after Tribal. Oh my God, I sound like I have a voice filter on this is hashtag no filter.
Is everyone going to be like, if you're going to do a voice filter, you should have done it for like 5 minutes, and that's it.
All right.
Love you guys. Okay, yeah. But let me just remind you what happened at the last Tribal. So there was kind of a plan potentially in place to vote out Tommy.
Right.
But Dean was like, hey, Tommy, Nora's going to vote you out. And then Nora was like, what? I wasn't.
Know anything about that.
Elaine has an idol.
Yeah.
So Nora was kind of caught red-handed.
Well, she did get half the votes.
She did get votes,
last time.
But they kind of just used her as the just in case Karishma has an idol.
Well, after Tribal, they got back to camp, and Nora said to Tommy, I was never going to put your name down.
Nora.
Come on.
Nora. Why would you not have told him before Tribal if that was the case? Come on.
She was so disgusted with Dean that she took his precious shoes and hid them on the flag.
This was like some much needed comic relief.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
It was
fun. But they didn't show us him finding the shoes, because we saw the shoes prominently featured later in the episode, and they never showed.
It probably wasn't a big deal. He was probably just
okay.
like, "Where's my shoes?"
It was
they're on the flag.
Yeah, it was so shady though, because apparently they leave like an article of clothing on that flag for like every person that's been voted out or whatever. So
I think it's more of a subconscious message. Like it wouldn't be a big thing for him to find them. I think the main thing was it was symbolic, and
yeah, I mean, she wasn't really trying to hide them and make him not be able to find them.
And he was a little short, so he probably couldn't reach them.
Ah! The shade.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So everybody's got a chance of getting voted out. There's no more safe zones.
Well, Elaine also played her idol last week, so now
there's a new idol in play.
Yeah, there should be another idol in play. So Elaine is looking for it. Dean is looking for it.
Janet and Tommy are looking for it.
Everybody's getting up early to look for this idol.
So Janet freaking finds it.
Damn.
I wish she hadn't told Tommy.
I know. Oh, I was so excited she found it. I was like, please don't tell Tommy. Please don't tell Tommy. Please don't tell blah, 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 blah. And then she tells him. What are you doing? Why
that
does everyone
wasn't the worst
to win?
of it, though. Dean saw her and Tommy talking over.
He was like, they have their heads down, like they're looking at something. I think she found it. And you know what?
He was right.
As much as I've been ragging on Dean,
he's a good player.
Just because he's slaying all of our faves.
Yeah.
If he makes it to the end, I might have to
He should win. He should win. I know, right? I know. So, meanwhile, Lauren is worried that her boy Tommy and the other boys are making a little He-Man Woman Haters Club, a boys club.
Yeah, because
it's not going to include her.
He's talking about going to the end with her, so he says, and Dan and Dean, and she's getting a little paranoid that they might do an all-boys Final Three, which nobody freaks out about, and she's going to get cut at the Final Four. And
guess
you know what?
She was right.
That's exactly what Tommy is planning.
They had the receipts. They showed the receipts.
They had
and
their
it was
little
true.
meeting, and they were like, yeah, boys club. And Lauren needs to watch out for herself.
Well, it's one of the last, or is it the last? I think it's the last.
What?
No, it's not. Island of the Idols.
I was like, last dance? Yeah.
It's one of the last Island of the Idols. It might be one next week.
This is the last individual one, probably.
I don't know. They could be cutting one more person, because I'm sure the final episode is 3 hours. So they're probably going to do one more single or so. And then,
Could be. It could be, yeah.
A double and...
Well, anyway, in any case, they pick a name out of the bag. And what do you know?
It's freaking Dean.
Dean, player of the week, apparently.
Yeah.
Is going to the Island of the Idols.
How do they do it?
What do you mean?
How do they arrange for it to be so relevant each week?
A new person every time? Oh.
A new person and a person relevant to what's going, central to what's going on.
I don't know. Some would say reality TV is not real.
Some would say that. So Dean gets on the boat with his precious sneakers and is treated to a fish dinner that was caught by none other than that which Boston Rob.
I love Survivor. That's not the right accent, but whatever.
I love fishing.
Yeah.
All right, so he's enjoying a nice dinner. He pulls out his fake advantage.
Oh my God! This part was hilarious because Rob and Sandra were part of the creation of this fake legacy advantage. So they're just like...
Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
He's like, you should know what this is. It came from here.
He's like, can you guys tell me if it's real or not? And they're like, we can't do that.
Only Jeff can do that.
I gotta give them props for holding it together because I would have been dying.
I would have been
dying.
You got got.
Yeah, so he was telling them all about his plan before to make the fake legacy advantage.
I stand by my original reasoning that it was genius.
It was really smart. Where I was concerned, though, is when he was saying, oh, with this one, I might try and get people to vote for me.
That was stupid.
Yeah, so he could, pull it out and be like, not today, Satan, but it would be that day.
Yeah, it would be.
So he better watch himself with that. He's getting a little too cocky now.
Well, his lesson this week is jury management.
Yeah. all about telling a story if you make it to the final 3, being able to differentiate yourself as a player from everybody else. And
you got to have a resume, too.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about making a big move. And what was the other phrase I'm looking for right now?
Well, that you just got to tell your
Basically,
story.
you gotta have something to say. You know, you can't just be like, I love Survivor and I should win. You gotta make a case for yourself.
You gotta tell what your strategy was. You gotta say how you implemented it, who you were instrumental in getting out and how you got there. So that is, you have to make people want to give you the money.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, oh, well, they played the best game, whatever. You have to make them want to give it to you.
I thought this was all a very good lesson,
yes.
but I feel like his test did not really fit the lesson.
No.
The test was a coin flip. Do you want to flip a coin?
Right.
If you guess it correctly, you get
an extra vote, an idol nullifier, or an idol for the next tribal, not for you.
Damn. I gotta say,
I think he chose right.
Yeah, he chose the idol nullifier, which that is such a freaking good advantage.
It is.
Oh my god.
It is. Because you can have an idol for yourself, but to be able to say, for somebody else, because that's something that you normally can't control.
I mean, it's not the be-all, end-all, though, because you do have to play it before the votes are read.
Right.
So it's not like you see somebody play an idol.
You really got to have some insider information.
Yeah, so it's a good safety net.
Right.
You know?
It's an extra tool in your Survivor toolbox.
Right.
All right, so he gets back. Well, he flipped the coin and he won, so he gets it. He gets back to camp and he makes up a story, which wasn't really that much of a story because it was mostly true.
Almost all of them have already been there anyway, so they know, like, oh, he saw Rob and Sandra.
Right. So he says, I got a chance to win something. I had to flip a coin. I tried to play for an idol nullifier. No, I tried to play for
that one. He only mentioned 2 of the advantages.
Oh, right.
Not that one.
He said, I could have played for an extra vote or for an idol for next time, but I lost.
Right.
So later on, he tells Tommy the truth.
Here's my thing. Like, he's claiming basically that he lost his vote because he lost the coin toss. I think if I was a player there,
I would not tell somebody that I lost my vote.
I would suspect that he was lying because you're not going to tell everybody when your vote is taken away.
Right.
You don't want that out in the open because they're going to be like, oh, Dean is useless to me.
Yeah. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah. So I would be really suspicious of that, but they seem to be like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does tell Tommy and the rest of that group the truth.
And Tommy's getting a little nervous now that Dean's got some power.
Because he's thinking, okay, he might have this, like, legacy advantage thing. He is a strong player. He was thinking
well, he does. He tells him that he has the idol nullifier, so he thinks he's got that. He's got the legacy thing.
He thought that he was going to be a GOAT.
Right.
In the bad sense, not the greatest of all time. But now he's like, I can't take this guy to the end because he could potentially beat me.
Right. So he thinks Dean should go.
Ooh.
And I have to agree. That's smart thinking.
I mean, it makes sense, right? I don't know why Dean would want to work with all these, like, big players when he could be getting together with Elaine and Nora and all them. Like, what are you doing?
All right. Well, it's challenge time. And previously, when we saw Nora spinning on the last episode, as you know, the tease for this episode.
For next week.
I thought it had something to do with the challenge.
We thought she got some sort of a clue about the challenge, and that's why she was, like, practicing spinning.
Completely unrelated. She was just spinning.
I guess she's just, like, a genius? I don't know.
Maybe she thought there was a possibility.
Maybe she had a premonition? I don't know.
She could have been spinning the whole season.
It was super relevant this time, though.
Yeah. So, on this challenge, you had to unwind some rope around you as the spool. Mm-hmm. So, it's like that old Little League challenge where you have to go around your bat a few times and then like run a straight line.
Or like Mario Party when they're spinning and then you're like, whoa.
Right. So that was funny because a lot of people were very dizzy.
They were falling down, and that's funny when people fall down. As long as they don't get hurt.
Right. So there was a balance beam, and there's a puzzle at the end. And
it was
you
a word puzzle.
Transport the last piece of the puzzle to the rest of the pieces so that you could solve your puzzle.
Yeah. So Elaine, seeing that it was a word puzzle, was immediately like, crap. This is not going to be good for me. But you know what? She came so close to winning. She did really good. She came so close to winning. She was moving right along with that word puzzle, but then Dean snuck up right behind her.
I believe she actually had the phrase figured out. She just couldn't figure out how that piece fit in.
Yeah. So Dean, player of the week, ended up winning immunity.
I believe the phrase was, "This game will mess with your mind."
Get out of your mind.
Yeah. So Dean wins, and back at camp, everyone says that they're going to vote for Elaine because she's next target.
She's a big threat.
She is a big threat.
Everybody likes her. She could potentially win challenges. They've seen that before. And at this point, it's really like all the big players saying, okay, Elaine or Nora.
Mm-hmm. Well, all the votes are going to go to Elaine except for one vote from Handsy Dan for Nora.
Friggin' Dan. We'll get to him. So Elaine is scrambling here. She's trying to make something happen. Anyone but her. So she tells Lauren, hey, do you really want to be taking Nora to the end? Because there's a good chance that people will want to take her further than you.
And Nora is really good at challenges. Yeah. Especially endurance challenges.
Yeah. So Lauren is really thinking about this. She's like, you know what? You got a good point there. Mm-hmm. If we could pull Janet in, and Dan is going to already be voting for Nora.
Right.
We would have enough votes to make this happen.
Yeah. So Lauren asked Janet, how would you feel about voting out Nora? Mm-hmm. And Janet's like, yeah, maybe I could get on that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a definitive yes, but she's definitely considering it.
She's thinking about it.
You know what my thing is?
What?
Why would you vote out Nora when you could take out Tommy
a guy
or Dan? What are you doing? Why are you trying to hand them the game? I don't get it.
What I don't understand is how everybody, especially Dan, was like, you don't want to take a goat like Karishma to the end. But Dan, you're a goat. You're a goat.
Unfortunately, Dan would get votes.
That's crazy.
Like, a lot of these people are standing behind their Dan.
Stand by your Dan?
Yeah.
I don't see how.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, obviously there's some that are not for obvious reasons.
Right.
But some of them are like, oh, he's fine. Oh my God.
All right. So it's tribal council, and Elaine was pissed as she was talking to Jeff.
Mm-hmm. She's saying, Jeff, I was about to win that challenge, and Dean just snatched it out from under me.
Yeah. Her wig got snatched.
Yeah.
She made a great case for keeping her.
Mm-hmm.
She's a shield in front of other bigger players.
Yeah.
I mean, once she's gone, there's no more shields.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And also, people will want to get rid of her, whereas they might want to just keep Nora around until the end.
Right. So she made a good case to get rid of Nora. Mm-hmm. And then she told her personal story about how her mom died 3 months ago.
This was heartbreaking.
And she wanted to get out of there, do something else.
Herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really felt for her.
I really felt for her too. There was not a dry eye there.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
There was not a dry eye there. She's a very likable person. Mm-hmm. I liked her from the beginning.
Yeah.
So what do you do with likable people? You vote them out.
Oh, Elaine!
That sucked. That sucks so bad.
I would have loved to have seen Elaine in the final 3.
Me too.
That would have turned this turd of a season around a bit.
Yeah.
But no, we can't have that this season.
All right, so big news. Big news at the end of this episode.
You knew something was up when the show did not end right after
Tribal.
So they're back at camp, and everybody's
Freaking
hanging
Jeff
out,
shows up,
and they're
he
like,
does
"Woo!"
not look happy.
Yeah, he did not look happy. They're all celebrating, and he's just like,
No, we're not doing that.
no. So he says, I got some news for you guys. Noticeably absent before the announcement.
Dan.
What's going on here?
He said Dan is removed from the game and he will not be returning. He will not be coming home to jury.
Yeah, he's not going to be on the jury.
He will not. He was removed from an incident involving a production member.
Ooh.
And
so they didn't specify what it was on the show.
Right.
Which was really sketchy. And I think that they should have put a little bit more details in there.
Well, maybe they will next episode.
Well, I feel like they have to address it in the reunion.
Absolutely.
I could understand, like, confidentiality and stuff, but I feel like if you're not mentioning names and, you know, super specific details, you can say kind of like what happened.
But will Dan be at the reunion?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Will Dan be arrested?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. It's a very gray area. Like, I think they said this was the first time that anyone was removed for something like this from the game. You know,
Thank God.
We've seen medevacs before, but actually being removed like that, this is the first time. So I did see that there was an article online last night that was talking about a little bit more about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently they were coming back from, I think it was the competition, or the challenge, immunity challenge. And Dan put his hand on a production person's leg or something, and they were like, no. So it also sounded like from the article, he did not go willingly.
Well, didn't he also say that he lost his balance?
He claims that he, like, lost his balance and, like, put his hand down
and
or
fell
whatever.
into someone?
Yeah,
come on.
dude, come on. And, I mean, he already had a warning before this, so I think it was kind of
I believe he had several warnings.
I think this was like you've had a warning before. If you mess up again, you're out, and he messed up again. So he's out.
So this is serious. Mm-hmm. This is unprecedented. They are filming the reunion not live. They're filming it 4 hours before it's airing, which has never been done before to my knowledge.
No, I think it's pretty much always been live.
It's always been live, and that's crazy. I feel bad for his family.
I do too. I'm glad that they finally removed him, but I really think they should have done it
sooner.
Before.
Yeah, I agree.
And doesn't that suck that this happened after the tribal?
Yeah.
So, like, could Elaine have stuck around?
I know.
Been told earlier?
I know.
Like, there's so many people that their games were affected by this too. Like, even Kelly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can only imagine how far she would have made it if that whole thing didn't happen.
Right. So, like we said, next time is the finale. Everybody gets to meet Rob and Sandra. Mm-hmm. That's exciting.
Yeah.
But thank you, Dan, for ruining the season.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like a single-handed, no pun intended, thing. Like, it was still so messed up, too, when Missy and Elizabeth and them tried to use that as game weeks ago.
That was horrific.
Yeah.
I'm still upset about that.
Dan is...
special.
What can you even say? Despicable.
Let us know what you think in the comments.
It seems like he doesn't even think that he did anything wrong. You've been warned and told repeatedly that you're making people uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very upsetting. But anyway, let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments.
It's below deck time.
All aboard!
Yep. All right, so let's just start this off with some bad news.
Oh.
Simone, you're not a good second stew. I'm going to have to side with Kate on this one.
We saw last week that Simone said, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to talk to Kate because I want to be doing more service. And Kate basically told her,
you suck at service. Go back to the laundry room.
Oof, yeah.
You know what? She tried to get her out of the laundry room, but if you suck at serving the guests and the guests give you a tip, That would be stupid.
There's only so much training that you can do during a charter. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they don't have tons of time in between the charters
Right.
where they can go over that. So I see both sides of it. I don't know. It's just not a good situation.
I don't know. Kate has had better luck with people who it was like their first freaking time. I don't get it. I don't get how you don't know to ask somebody if they want something.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing that really was an issue there.
When in doubt, ask somebody if they want a drink.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it's too hard to get in the mindset of you don't want the guests to have to want for anything. You have to anticipate what they want.
It really does seem more like Courtney is the second stew,
Yeah.
but because she didn't have as much experience as Simone, she was the third stew. I don't know.
And then they showed some old school pictures of Kate in the laundry room.
That was hilarious.
Like, I spent months below deck in the laundry room, and I didn't complain.
Yeah.
All right. That Riley's, for lack of a better word, a real bitch.
She's a shit stirrer.
She really is. Riley and Simone have a little chat, and Riley says Kate does this all the time.
Damn.
That's a bitch move. That is a bitch move. If I were Kate watching that, I would be like, Riley is no friend of mine.
And they're roommates, and they were roommates. So then Riley's talking to Kate, and she's like, what's up with Simone? And Kate's basically like, she's not good at being second stew, whatever. But Riley's got more pressing issues to talk about.
Riley has Brian to talk about.
She says,
She's thirsty.
Courtney is boring. I should be with Brian.
I'm going to steal him away.
And Kate was kind of like, pfft, because Kate is actually really good friends with Courtney. They get along really well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The charter was over with the ladies. It was a short one, and the tip was small, but it was short. So what do you expect? I mean, even Captain Lee said it was pretty good for a short tip.
I think it's pretty good for like a one-day charter.
You know, short one.
Yeah.
They not only got a beach day, the crew, they got a trip to an elephant sanctuary.
Aww.
Those elephants, can I just take a second to say, whoa, I appreciate those elephants so much.
I know. I'm glad that they went to a
gorgeous.
Sanctuary and not like
A zoo?
like an elephant riding place or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is much better for the elephants. It's not perfect,
No.
but it is definitely a better situation for them.
It was so touching.
Yeah.
I would
They
have
were
been
so
crying
cute.
my eyes out if I was on their trip.
They got to bathe them and feed them and like pet them. It was really
They got
nice.
in the water with the elephants and had
except
like
for Brian,
a mud
'cause
fight.
he couldn't get
his leg
feet
wet.
Right. So that was a fun little treat.
Well, it wasn't so much fun for Tanner because his mommy couldn't get a hold of him and she was freaking worried. And she
She's
blew
gotta
up his
know.
phone.
Did you get a hookup pregnant, Tana?
Oh my God. I just can't with him.
Is he going to tell his mom what he's been up to with Simone? Because it seems
Yes.
like there's no boundaries there. He's
Yes.
telling everybody else.
Mom, I went down on Simone the other night, but she only touched my D for like 8 seconds. Maybe that's all it took.
Oh!
Maybe that's all it needed. We don't know that.
Let's talk about Kate and Kevin. These two are always fighting.
Yeah.
There's always something that they're arguing about.
Well, now they're arguing over the galley fridge.
Mm-hmm.
That belongs to Kevin. And Kate says, no, there's plenty enough room in there for the wine for the charter. And Kevin says, no, that belongs up in the refrigerator in the main salon. I don't see what the BFD is. I think they just like to fight.
I feel like Kevin feels like that refrigerator is under his control. He's trying to get as much control as he can.
Do you think those two will be screwing each other's brains out
know
by the
what?
end of the charter?
The thought did cross my mind. I was like, are they going to, like, hate F?
Could be.
You never know. You never know. That would be a wild twist.
All right. Well, they're on their way to the animal sanctuary, the elephant sanctuary, and it's boys' van and girls' van.
Oh, boy. So the girls let Simone know, Tanner is airing all of your
dirty laundry.
Bedtime secrets.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, what? She was not happy about that. Nor should she be.
8 seconds.
He should not be sharing those details. Like Simone said, it's one thing if he's telling all of his friends about that, which is already like a ugh. But to tell the people that you are living with, working with, what are you doing?
It reminded me of the scene in Young Frankenstein where Madeline Kahn is like, you better keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
7 or 8 quick ones, and then you're off to boast and brag to the boys.
Such an iconic movie.
Yes.
Anyway.
Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. So good.
So Tanner tells the bros that Riley can't be trusted because she is the yeah.
She's the one that told Simone.
Right. So then that night when they got back...
Maybe you should just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway.
That night when they got back, Tanner was drunk AF.
Because Simone was like, I need to talk to you. You need to shut up.
And she jumped in his bed.
Because he freaking booty texted her in the middle of the night.
And then didn't remember what went on after that. That's bad.
You can't tell people if you don't remember, right?
Yeah, maybe. All right, well... It's beach day.
Yeah, so the next day, they get to go to this resort. This is like something that they usually do around halfway through the season. They get to have a full day off and just like go and relax.
Yeah, but Kate is taking freaking forever to get ready.
Riley,
yeah.
They were just like, you know what? We're going to take our sweet ass time.
They weren't ragging on Riley, though. They were only ragging on Kate for taking so long to get ready. Mm-hmm. That's not fair.
Well, you know how they feel about Kate.
So Riley is thirsting over Brian. She'd F that puppy and lick the sweat off of his abs.
Why would you say that about a puppy? I don't know about that word choice from her.
So would it have been worse if she said she'd F that baby?
I think that the little romance between Courtney and Brian is really sweet.
I think so, too.
You know?
I think Brian seems like a pretty good guy. Mm-hmm. And,
Courtney's been a pleasant surprise this season.
Yeah.
You know, from the preview, we thought she was going to be horrible, and she's hilarious.
Riley is just, she just likes to F.
Do you think she... like, whatever. Like, do your thing, but... he's interested in Courtney, so do you think Riley's gonna actually try and make a move on Brian?
Yes.
That'd be pretty scandalous.
I think she will, and I think she'll be shut down.
I think she'll be shut down, too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so this was so sad. Simone and Tanner are part to part.
But then, like, not long after that, they bring out these, like, dancers.
Old dancers.
Oh, don't call them old. They bring out these, like, poolside dancers, and they're just like, woo! And then...
Could they have, like, found better poolside dancers? Like,
why are you ragging on the dancers? They're just doing their job.
I mean, if they're there to be, like, sexy, shouldn't they have been in, like, bikinis and...
I don't know. Maybe the guys wouldn't have been able to control themselves.
Maybe it was family day. I don't know.
I don't know. But Ashton and Tanner were like, ugh, when they came out. They were like, oh, F. So.
That's okay for Ashton. But Tanner is with Simone, kind of.
Sort of. Not really. But she says, I'm sharing a bed with Tanner. This is kind of effed up. And I agree. It's kind of effed up. But that's what happens when you don't, like... solidify what's happening here. I don't know. It's not a good situation.
They do some sexy dancing.
Yeah,
and
Tanner
that's the extent
and Ashton
of it.
both get up there and dance with the dancers, and Simone was like, ugh, and everybody else was like, ugh.
Yeah.
They all know Tanner really effed up. So they let him know about it too.
Then cut to Kevin and Brian bitching about Kate.
Oh, these two.
She's the worst. She's got control issues. She's this. She's that. She's the root of all our problems.
Are you calling out your own issues in someone else, because that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then Kevin and Kate are arguing about paying tabs.
Yeah, because Kevin always falls asleep when it's time to pay. So she's like, Ashton and I always pay, but you wouldn't know that.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
They have the receipts.
So is that true? Like, Kate and Ashton usually pick up the bill for all of them? Because I just assumed everybody pays for their own crap.
Yeah, but then maybe they, like, settle it later.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. All right, well, Kevin and Brian call out Tanner for mistreating Simone.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
I mean, it was a real douche move on Tanner's part.
Yeah. So they're not riding back to the boat in segregated vans anymore.
Everyone's together. Yay.
Well, in 2 vans.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, this is like later, yeah.
Yeah. And then Kate and Brian are having a conversation about being called a yachty.
Kate was trying to compliment Brian and saying, like, oh, you're a great yachty, like, you're a hard worker, blah, blah, blah. And Brian's like, don't call me that.
Because I guess he thinks of it as a derogatory term, like somebody who F's off and, you know.
Honestly, it seemed like she was trying to compliment him, but that's not how he took it. So he was pretty pissed. And
he called her a bitch.
Yeah! It was awkward.
So Kate pretty much jumped out of the moving van.
She was upset. I'm really surprised at her reaction. Maybe it was just because she was drinking a lot. Because I feel like she's got a thick skin. So I don't...
She usually does.
I don't know why that bothered her so much. But she, like, tried to jump out of a moving vehicle. And the producer was like, Kate, the van is still moving. So
yeah.
If you could, like, not do that.
Yeah. So she goes back. She walks back to the boat and talks to Captain Lee before everybody gets back.
Mm-hmm.
And... he's like, yeah, I can't reason with these people. They're all drunks.
So then everybody comes in, and Kate starts, like, throwing people's uniforms on the floor.
And Captain Lee looked kind of disgusted.
Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't like that.
He doesn't want to get involved in this.
He doesn't like that. And Kate is, like, his real-life friend.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't want to see her in a situation like that.
Yeah. So
Ashton's like, why are you throwing these pants on the floor? That's so immature.
You're disrespecting the crew common area.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone uses this.
And all this is happening in front of the captain.
And he's just like...
Mm-mm. So this is where I leave. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah. At least Brian was big enough to apologize to Kate.
I feel like Courtney was like, you better freaking apologize to her.
Too little, too late, though.
Yeah, Kate's not happy. So then the scenes for next week, she's crying in her bunk and she's like, everyone hates me and is attacking me. It's sad.
Well, get happy because it's a kids' charter.
I think that's the same kids from last season.
They were great.
I'm bleeding!
Oh no, the kitchen's on fire.
Yeah, so there's going to be some drama.
Oh, it's stinky.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I love the kids' charter.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. I want to see what Captain Lee and Kate are going to talk about.
Yeah.
When they, kind of go over what happened.
Doesn't Kate kind of, like, leave, too? Or...
I don't know if that's next week or if it happens later when she's all like, you're going to have to find another chief stew.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it seems like somebody's still going to get fired this season, too.
Uh-oh.
So let us know what you thought in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this week or listening.
Sorry I sounded like Carol Channing.
Oh, it's okay. We love Carol Channing.
Okay.
And we'll see you guys next week for some finales. Ooh. Bye. Until next time.
Much love.